This podcast is proudly powered by Battle-Born Batteries. Let the power of lithium take you on your journeys across the outdoor world. Battle-Born Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battle-Born makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
What's up, everybody? Good evening to you. My name is Justin Patrick, and we now have in the house David Best and guest and friend of the show, Seth Breckenridge, joined with us tonight live in the studio there at David's. What's going on, guys?
Hey, good evening.
Hey.
So we got a pretty awesome show tonight. We have finally made it through the St. Jude Kayak Classic Open, and we have a winner. And that is Mr. Ronald Butler Sr. He took home the grand prize of the Hobie Passport 12, courtesy of S.Y. Wilson and Company at Hobie. And he walked away with 79.5 inches. And close second was it Steve Joyner? With 79 inches. So, you know, it was tight right there, those top two. And, you know, we had quite a few, you know, good limits. There was some good fish in there. Jason Carr, he had two 19s in there, had a good 16 to follow it up, man, but he just didn't get those other two fish. But we got Ronald coming on tonight. We're going to be talking with him and getting his take on the tournament and, you know, how he went about catching his fish and stuff. So, but, you know, David, you know, We've been building up to this. We've been working on this for a while now, and you know, haven't been promoting it for probably as long as we should have been. But you know, that's just kind of the idea and the opportunity. Really, just kind of came up in the past 6 months to add the kayak side to it. So, you know, tell me your thoughts, man. You know, from where we started to where it ended up. You know, what's your thoughts on it? Success or not?
I was relatively happy with the final results. I mean, you know, for an idea, we've talked about it up to a year ago, but it was just one of those passing kind of things. And then I guess it was maybe October, November, December, we really started talking hard about it. And then January, February, when we really started pushing. And I mean, I'm happy with the results. I mean, you know, I think we got some changes to make. We're looking at a lot of things that we want to do different. Got some ideas on some things I want to do different as we go forward. You've got some ideas. Mr. Cook's got some ideas. But I think, you know, Steve and the St. Jude team, Gary, they all loved it. The bass fishermen loved it. They loved the idea enough that I had at least 5 or 6 come to me and say, hey, have it on a different day because we would have liked to have fished this event too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, so that's an opportunity there. I mean, we got a lot of opportunities. You know, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being on the tournament director side of it a little bit. You know,
we got to sit in the AC for a while. So we got to sit in the AC all day.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I rolled out of bed at 5 o'clock, looked at my phone. Oh, yep, this was checked in. This was checked in. Yep, they're in the right place. This was checked in.
Yeah.
They're where they're supposed to be. You know, they start catching fish. I still ain't rolled out of bed. I'm just judging.
Yeah. I know. I had a shimmer of a thought to get to one of the ramps in the morning to try to get some pictures of guys taking off and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I do enough for that. So I'm gonna stay right here in the bed. But man, we had just an amazing amount of support. Leading up to the tournament, we got David Walker in the comments, and he played an integral part in helping to get the word out there in the North Mississippi area. So greatly appreciate David. And and then afterwards, man, I got a number of texts and messages from people, saying, they're looking forward to next year, and they want to help. Carl Hudson, offered to help. He was kind of iffy on the price increase that we had discussed, and those are some pieces we're gonna work through. But overall, man, I think it went awesome. What we accomplished, in itself is awesome. Being able to raise money, doing something that we love to do, you can't beat that. So, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of the tournament, and I think as we move forward, we're going to get the guys from Arkansas and more people from maybe more Eastern Tennessee and just more people here, in this area. I think quite a few guys that in our club probably didn't fish it because some of them were going to Chick and stuff like that this weekend.
Yeah.
So that's a lot to handle in 2 weeks, but well, let's get old Senior on here, man. Everybody's eager to hear his side of the story. So without further ado, let's get him in here. There he is. What's up, Mr. Senior? Mr. Ronald Butler Senior. I don't know if people call you Senior, but you and your son got the same name, so I just call you Senior.
That's fine. That's fine.
But man, thanks for joining with us tonight. Excellent job out there this past Saturday. Did you have fun?
I did. I had fun.
Yeah.
Always fun when you get to fish.
That's right. Catch them or not, man.
Catch them
it's
or
just
not.
something about being on the water. Well, let's hear a little bit about your history. Do you have any history on the lake? Did you get any practice in looking around, or did you just go out there and go fishing?
Never been there. Went there Saturday in practice, and had a decent practice. We caught a couple. I caught a 15.5, a 16.5 on the crankbait, and left that spot and went and looked for something else, and really didn't find much else after that. But that's sort of how the practice day went. And
yeah. Well, I mean, you're no stranger to fishing, shallow water. I mean, you're hammer. You and your son are both hammers, and in the club, and I mean, even in some of the bigger stuff you guys have fished in, you always do good. Going into this tournament, I know, it was a big charity thing. Did you have your eyes set on that Hobie? Was that, did you definitely want to win?
Eyes always on the prize. Of course I did. Yeah. And it was really cool winning. And that's probably the biggest thing I've ever won in a tournament, so it was pretty fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really awesome. I mean, for us to be able to get something like that away, typically first year tournament, you don't have something like that to give away. But thanks to S.Y. Wilson and Company and Hobie for supplying us with that giveaway. But
sure.
Man, tell us a little bit about your day. Just kind of like walk us through. I mean, I was on the receiving end as well as David, and I had to call you at one point, and you were you were pretty quick on the phone. You're like, man, I'm on in school.
Yeah, I was.
So, kind of, how did the day progress for you? I mean, were you seeing that schooling action early in the morning, or
no, I wasn't. And I went to fish that ditch. I don't even know what it's called, Lord. We took off from ramp, went about, I guess, a half a mile or so, and on the left back there was a long ditch, and not kidding, it went from a foot to 8 foot. I mean, just that quick, like a ledge. Fished there about probably an hour, got a couple bites. I think it was gar, just the way they bit. So I was thinking, well, this ain't working too good. So I'm going to go back to my bank where I practice on and caught the fish on the crankbait. Went to that bank, made the curve. The first brush buck brusher came to. I flipped that crankbait up there and caught one. I don't remember how big it was. Whatever my first fish was that I sent in, and went on around a little more, 30, 40 feet, and went back to that spot, threw in the same spot, caught another one. Then it cooled down a little bit. Then I probably an hour or so later, seemed like it's around 10 or so, I caught another one out of that spot. So I said, well, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to spot lock on this spot, and I'm going to see what's going on. So that's when I took the yum dinger out and just flipped it up there, spot lock, and flipped it up there, picked up, and he was swimming with it. I didn't even have to set discard or reeling. He was already on there.
Yeah.
I did that probably, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 times, just pick up and they'd be on there. I mean, it's just like one cast after the next. I was getting one. And this worked out real good on that spot for me. Yeah.
Now, David, you're probably the most experienced on that lake of all of us. You know, I've only been there a few times myself. Mr. Ron's been there once and wins. That area, you know, where a lot of the anglers kind of went out of that lower end of the lake. You know, this time of year, the first of June, stuff like that. Do you typically see that? You know, fish action still back there like it is? I mean, or you know,
that area back there is probably one of the most popular areas of that lake. It's one I fished a million freaking times. I have some other areas further up the lake I like to fish as well. You know, Mark Davis was fishing in one of my areas I like to fish. But yeah, that area that Ron and them were in, that's kind of the cream. I mean, you know, there's a lot of tournaments to get won in that section of the lake.
Man, it's awesome looking.
It is. There's some different stuff there. I mean, because you got, like you described, you got a lot of those little shallow flats with channels that come off. You got some willow trees in some areas. You've got, you know, all kinds of different things to fish back in there. You got some points with some deeper channels that run next to them, and there's a lot. I mean, those transition kind of things this time of year, that's what you want, where you can go from point A to point B really quickly, and you can find some other things.
Yeah, that was a channel swing. It went around that bank, and I was right in the channel, you know, where they, and I know they were there because I didn't even know how much fry was in there. I knew it was there, but from fishing Saturday. But when that sun came out Sunday and shined, you know, got up in that buck brush real good, it was like just millions of fry.
Yeah.
I mean, they was from one end of it almost to the other. There's probably a 200 or a 250 foot stretch of bank that was just fry everywhere. Wow. But that one spot for some reason was where they was really loaded up at. I don't know why. I couldn't catch them anywhere else, but literally that one little spot.
Did you guys see any kind of shad spawn action or anything like that, or you know, any brim beds?
Stuff flickering, but I don't know if they were spawning. It was like 3 or 4 inch gizzard shad, I guess. The ones I saw.
Yeah, you know, it always amazes me, you know, just how far outside of the textbook, you know, tournaments are oftentimes won. You know, and I mean, you think, you know, after the spawn and everything like that, they would move out to that deeper water, because it's got some deeper water. It's got that creek channel that runs all the way through it, you know, and I'm sure some of them do follow it out, definitely, but you know, it don't take much depth. You know, it's not always like the Tennessee River where they get out in 35 feet of water right after the spawn. Like you were talking about, Ron, they got that 8-foot channel right there. You know, there's places like that on Pickwick and stuff like that too, where that's just all the depth they need. And I'm sure they're resident fish back there.
But it was a nice bank for spawning fish. The whole bank was just white sand all the way down. So I know they know telling how many bass spawned on that bank.
Oh yeah,
I imagine tons of
them. So one of the questions was, what was the water visibility? Actually, all it says 6 inches. Was that same for you? Yeah. Wow.
Well,
so
if that lake was clear, it would really be a really beautiful lake.
Yeah.
And it does sometimes. It'll clear up a little bit here in the next. As long as we go without a bit of rain, come about mid-June, it gets really clear. My bass club usually fishes it mid-June. Yeah. And there's some big bags that get caught doing a lot of different stuff, throwing a top water, throwing a jig. So you never. I mean, that's a fun little lake. I really do like Enid. It's probably it's my favorite of the 3 little North Mississippi watersheds there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, a lot of the feedback from the anglers was, they like the lake. At first, judging on this end, the submissions were kind of coming a little slow, and I was like, man, we're gonna hear some complaining at the check-in today, and then I mean, it picked up. Ron, I know you had your flurry, kind of like that mid morning. I think it was like what about like 8:30, 9, something like that. That you were,
Yeah,
you kind of got on.
It was probably about around 9 or so. I think I started getting them. That yum dinger. That's when I locked down and started catching them on it. Probably for a couple of hours, but even after I stopped catching that many fish, I still caught. I'm going to say 3 or 4 more keepers. I didn't even send them in if they weren't, only 14 and a half inches. But there was just some fish in that spot, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a one other guy, I think Thad Moody, he got into a school, a really good school, but they were just all real shorts, 8, 12, 8, 10, 11 inches.
Yeah.
So, it seems like the lake is really healthy. It seems, I mean, I was out there Saturday morning for a couple hours just messing around, and I saw the same as you, Ron, just ton of fry in this one particular area.
Yeah.
I mean, just fresh hatchlings.
Right. Yeah. They're about
just cruising around.
Probably a half inch to 3/4 of an inch, just little tiny.
Yeah, you just about miss them if you weren't really paying attention. But so I mean, seeing that, it's always exciting to see that, because that the lake is spawning well and stuff like that, and the future of that lake is is looking good.
Yes.
David, in the past, or the past weekend or the couple weeks leading up to the tournament, we were hearing 24-pound bags, stuff like that. What's the history on that lake as far as back as you can remember? Is that pretty consistent, or has it gone through phases?
Well, I mean, all our area lakes go through phases, and that's one thing I remind people all the time about when you talk about Kentucky Lake, or you talk about Pickwick, or you talk about any of these area lakes. They all go through phases. I mean, Enid, Mr. Multi-Species here, Enid is known really more as a crappie lake, and it's a great white bass lake, and it's a great bass lake as well, and a lot of guys overlook it, and that's the beauty of it, because the St. Jude tournament's always been focused on Sardis, so people really think about Sardis as being a bass lake. Grenada is that next closest tri-state or tri-lake area lake to Jackson, so Grenada gets concentrated on a lot for bass fishing, and so Enid kind of gets forgot because it's a little bit smaller, and I think that's one of the beauties of it and why it produces the bags that it does produce down there. My biggest bass ever came out of Enid. When I was
what away.
So it's been a minute. So, but
what did it weigh?
8 1/4.
8 1/4, not bad.
So I mean, it is what it is. So,
Ron, was that you who said that you had about an 8-pounder follow your bait, or was that your son?
Junior.
That was Junior, yeah.
Yeah. All the way to the boat.
Golly, was that on a crankbait or top water?
A crankbait.
Crankbait. That's got to just kick you in the butt. Yeah, man, he had a pretty good day too. I think 75 3/4. So were you guys, were y'all fishing around each other, or were y'all sharing the schools?
No, I was on one school. He was way back in that ditch where I started at, where we started at. I wasn't feeling it back there, so I went to the spot that I caught fish Saturday.
Gotcha. Well, you had that that 2 hour, 3 hour flurry with the schoolers as the day progressed. Did it continuously get more tough on you? Did you have to grind them out?
It did. It tapered off, and like I said, I probably caught after 12:30 or so. I might have caught 3 or 4 more out of there, but they weren't big enough to help me any. I kept thinking maybe some big old female might still be hanging around and get one of them, but I never did. They were all probably little fry garter males that I was catching.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: when you as an angler, when you get into that situation where you're in a hot spot, and then the bite dies, are you the type, do you wait it out more oftentimes than none to see if that that area will refire, or do you get to a point where you say, okay, I'm ditching this, I'm going to go look for plan B?
Yeah, if it hadn't been so many fry in there, I probably would have ditched it after about 12:30 or 1. But with all them fry in there, I just thought there could still be one really good one in there. So normally I would have probably left. Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Hunted something else up.
Now, how easy was it for you guys? I mean, I heard the depth was like maybe 2 feet, average outside the channel and stuff like that. Was it pretty easy, to maneuver around, or did you have a lot of shallow bars and stuff like that you had to contend with?
Yeah, I only ran up on one. I had to back out on it, but you just had to really watch that graph, man, because when it started going up, it was pretty rapid.
Yeah.
The way it does in that lake.
Yeah, and I mean most of the mapping for that lake, because I mean it's pretty flat, pretty flat lake. Just there's not a whole lot of contour definition to it. There is some, but I mean, if you use a Garmin or Navionics, on my Garmin Active Captain app, looking at it, I mean, there's just, you can just kind of tell like a lot of it is guesstimated by Garmin, with their scanning previews and whatnot. And I mean, David, to your point, I think that's, these days, so many people are just dependent on, on electronics and stuff. When you look at that, you're like, man, do you trust that mapping? Do you not, or you just kind of go out there and figure it out? But, I know a lot of the locals and stuff, they know that lake like the back of their hand. Probably don't even use a map, but yeah, I mean, did that play much into your decision? I mean, are you one that looks at mapping and stuff like that, Ron, or you just pick a spot, looks good on the map, and go fishing?
No, the Saturday we pre-fished, I definitely went out in the channels, but man, I just couldn't. I did catch a couple of short fish, but nothing ever really that you maybe want to stay in them.
Yeah.
Caught them on a square bill, I think. The channels were 6-8 feet deep. Of course, they square bill when run 5-6 foot deep. I just never caught any good enough fish to want to stay in them.
Yeah.
I knew they were in there, but they were only like 12, 13-inch fish. So.
Yeah. I mean, I know you didn't really do a whole lot of practicing and beating up on them or anything, but did you did you tell any kind of difference between practice day on on Saturday and tournament on Sunday? Because I mean, some of the other anglers were saying that area was fishing pretty tough for them in practice, and some decided to ditch it and go back down the lake or up the lake, I should say, and like you and your son, you guys stuck it out.
Yeah, if I hadn't caught those 2 decent keepers, I probably would have went and found something else or tried to find. Just went fishing that Sunday, but I did find those 2 decent ones, and that's just what made me stay there and hammer it out all day.
Yeah.
So I just went with my gut on that one, because when I was fishing that ditch when I first started, I was like, I'm just not feeling this. I'm going to go to my spot over there.
Yeah.
It worked out. For once, it worked out.
Well, I think like in tournaments like this, you're fishing mostly to support a good cause and everything. And we're not. There's no points. It's just a 1-day tournament. Whether you win or you lose, your money's still going to the same place.
That's right.
I think it takes a lot of pressure off of anglers, and I think that when we as anglers can take that, alleviate that stress and that pressure in our decision making, man, it seems like it always turns out better. We just go out there and we do what we know we need to do anyways, and just go
have
fishing.
Fun. You can have fun and go fishing.
Yeah.
Right. Now, David, you probably know this, but somebody told me that lake was 3 or 4 feet low. Man, if it had been up really like it should have been, I really think it'd been really good.
It was a little lower than it really should have been right now, and that's what you were experiencing with typically that little ledge that you're talking about that was at that 1 or 2 foot deep range is normally in that 3 to 5 foot range. And when that summer pool, that area is money all summer. I mean, it's less money all year, really. I mean, it's not money during the winter because there ain't no water there, but
right.
But dirt crumbs, once it gets in that 261 to 263 range from there on, those fish can live back there all year. I mean, you'll get back there, that little ditch will have white bass in it. You'll catch crappie in there. You'll catch bass in there. You'll catch it all. And so it probably actually can help keep some of the white bass out of y'all's way, it being as low as it is, and allows for you to catch more bass back here too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's one of my favorites in that lake for sure.
I heard a few guys were they got caught up chasing some carp around for a little while.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
They were short jumping, that's for sure.
Yeah. I forget if it was practice or not. I think it was David. David telling me from the line if it was you, but I think they said they chase some blowing up fish there for a while before they realized it was carp. But shoot, I've been there on Pickwick, man. Before those buffalo carp, dude, they will go nuts up in that shallow water, and you think it's just some giants in there just exploding on bluegill. I've wasted a few hours.
They will do that up there. Gars too. The gars do that up there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, man. That lake, when it's high, like the water level's high, like 10 feet. I've been out there when it's like 10 foot high, and dude, that is a totally different lake.
It sure is.
I mean, there's some. Yeah, that's a shallow water flipper's dream right there.
Yeah, I think it was up like that seems like 3 or 4 years ago. Some guy was out of town fishing, and he caught I think it was 8.5 or 8 and 3/4. I don't know. It was a big small. It was over 8 pound smallmouth, flipping the brush with I think you said he was using spinnerbait, flipping up in that brush.
A smallmouth?
Huh? Yeah.
Wow.
He had the picture of it posted. It's been years ago, but it was way up like you're talking about, way flooded up.
Yeah. Wow. Dang. Dave, you ever caught smallmouth in there?
Nope, that's a new one on me.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was out there actually last year, and it was about 10 foot high, man. And it really opens up a lot of that backwater stuff to where you can get up in those creeks, and there's some really good backwater little open pockets and stuff that you can get in that's got some depth to it. And I mean, we try to get up in some of those little areas. My dad's bass boat Saturday, and I mean, just the backs of the pockets, they get so flat and so shallow. I mean, unless you follow the ditch line in, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
So, well, when we were going around afterwards, we were talking to everybody, kind of, getting some feelers out about, some changes and stuff like that moving forward. And we're in the crawling stages of this tournament. It's its first year. But, we want to hear some feedback. There's been a few days now, so what's your thoughts on it? What did you see that could be improved on? How do you think that we could reach some more anglers? And kind of what would you like to see coming out of this tournament, going into the future?
Man, I mean, I think y'all did everything really good. I don't know, maybe just more social media, hammering it on that, or the prize was good. I mean, I can't believe that kayak didn't draw no more than that, than 20 guys, but it is what it is. But I don't really have many other suggestions. I mean,
yeah. Well, we talked about the piece of. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I think the lake was fine. I mean, I would definitely, and I plan on fishing that lake more now. I've never fished it. I never knew it was that really good of a lake to fish. So,
yeah,
I'll probably go back for sure.
Now, I don't really know kind of what the rules are with WTBY as far as if the tournaments have to be in Tennessee. Because I know we fish Bay Springs. That's technically Mississippi. But club director Matt was in this one. He called a limit, and some others I think as well. So the potential's there. I think everybody that was fishing that area of the lake too definitely enjoyed the scenery. You could see the potential. It's got a lot of options and stuff there. I would like to see it end up on a schedule next year somewhere, just to kind of give some guys give the opportunity or open up the opportunity for there to be a little bit more publicity on the lake, particularly within our community, and then expand it on, because I mean, just like Browns Creek, you pull a 10-pounder out of there and then everybody and their mama knows about it, so the word gets out, and from what some of you guys were talking about, how you had some big ones follow in, and I mean, I think we had about out of 20 anglers, or 19 actually fishing, we had about 4 or 5 19-inch fish submitted.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
And your stringer and itself, I mean, you had some good, I mean, it was a good consistency, 15 16s.
Yeah.
Did you have a 17 plus at all in there?
16 3/4.
16 3/4. But see, I mean, that's a good quality fish. You know, I mean, some of these places, you know, you go to around here, you catch 120 incher and then 212s. You know, so, you know, I mean, to have 16s on the board like that, that's in my book, man. I'll take those all day if I can.
Oh yeah, yeah. David almost gave me a heart attack on that one, calling me.
I did. Well, you know,
I cut my number off, and it just so happened. I always write it on my hand too. I said, "Well, it's on my hand too." He said, "Oh, okay, let me." I was like, "Oh man, please be on my hand."
I think that almost got me too, because I was looking at one of your fish, or after when we were talking, I was like, "Dude, I don't see the identifier."
I am not the best. I'm not the best at those pictures.
Yeah.
well, that is a fail safe that I'm going to begin to use myself on the big ones.
That saved me on that one because that's the only one I took of that big fish, of that 16 3/4.
Yeah. Got a couple of people in the comments. Ashley, you know, we heard a couple other people talk about that, and this is a piece that I would kind of like to touch on for a minute, because this seems to be, I guess, the biggest suggestion that we've had so far. But it does, you know, it does bring about some, I guess, some complications. Running in conjunction with, you know, the St. Jude Bass Classic, and that's to have the tournament on the day before. And yeah, David, you know, we've briefly talked about, we haven't had a whole lot of time yet to really just, you know, get together. But, you know, what are some of the, I guess, complications that we would face with that, and what would we be missing out on by having it on Saturday?
Some of the complications there's some complications and some easing that goes on, and one of the things is, one, can Steve get it permitted for Saturday and Sunday to have all of Engineers Point? Which, one of the things that would make it easier is when the guys come in for check-in, we would have all that parking blocked off, where they would have an easy place to come in, park, you know, not have to deal with a lot of not have to deal with that problem. You know, one of the other things we talked about was parking, and having that in conjunction, having our weigh in conjunction at Batesville Civic Center. So then we have a big open parking area again. So that would be good. But one of the complications is if we're going to raise the price so that the anglers that fish the kayak event get the opportunity for that big draw prize of that $20,000, $25,000 War Eagle boat. Theoretically, in the past, you've always had to be present to win that boat. So there's a challenge there on how would we address that. Because, I mean, we have our tournament on Saturday. We don't want to have to bring all these anglers all the way back to have to deal with trying to just come be there and be present for that drawing. So,
I want to throw this one out here real quick, David. Everybody in the comments right now, would you prefer to win a 10 rig, or would you prefer to win a kayak?
Well, Justin have already discussed that one too.
Well, I want to hear because I mean, hey, you know, I wouldn't mind winning a 10 rig. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, that'd be something for me to take, you know, my family out in and stuff like that. But as kayak anglers, you know, would the masses rather win, you know, because that can play into whether or not we do that on a Saturday or keep it Sunday, and also, you know, increasing that price to $130. But sorry, David, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to throw that out there.
And I agree, and that's one we had talked about. That's another option that we got to look at for next year.
Yeah, a couple of people coming in
immediately. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, if we had around, you know, had a kayak as to stay as the first place giveaway, and then have another one that we can auction off or raffle off or something like that, you know, that may, you know, set it up to where we could do it on Saturday. But, you know, the piece about, you know, with Children's for Life Corporation and Steve Cook and the role that he plays in all that and getting it organized and set up, you know, that is the hurdle to get over. But
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this being the first year, we're gonna learn as we go. We're gonna figure things out. We're gonna make things better as we go.
Yeah.
So
Ryan, you said your wife's already taking that one over.
Yeah, I think she's gonna take that one over.
There you go.
I'm gonna get that little Benini top for her, and I think she's gonna like it pretty good.
Yeah. Does that have a sail
Yeah,
post in it, David?
they have a sale port. You can put sails on them. I have they have actually. I'm doing a demo Thursday with a couple, and they're going to put a sail kit on theirs under the extra sailing rudder, so you can actually put a sail on them, or you can put the empty top like what I sent Ron a picture of. Keep the sun off of it. There's a lot of neat little ads you can put on all those things.
Yeah, I'll tell her, you going over and selling now. I'm going to go fishing.
Yeah,
I really like what a lot of these manufacturers are doing by making them power pole ready. You know, they're having the indents pre-molded into them.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was that kind of kickstarted that. I want to say it was Jackson, or no, I think it was actually Titan or Native. They started doing that.
Right, it was Native.
Yeah,
so,
with their Titan
I've
boats.
had Seth in here today looking at his new Unlimited he's fixing to pick up here before too long. So
looking forward to it.
Seth, are you a bass boat guy, or have you been
kayak?
More of a kayak guy.
More of a kayak guy. Okay.
More of a kayak. I don't mind doing a bass boat, but I just think there's so much stuff that can go wrong, and a lot of times it does go wrong. So in a bass boat.
What's what boat stands for? Break out another 1,000.
That's it.
I ain't had to do that on a kayak yet, other than buy new ones.
Yeah, my dad worked on his all year last year and got to fish maybe a month at the end of the year. So,
Definitely a whole different experience in the yak.
Yeah, it is. Man, you mentioned spot locking on that Hobie. How's that? You know, I know you and Junior, man, y'all are liking those a lot, aren't you?
Man, I love that spot lock. Now Junior done put an anchor on the back of his, because sometimes you're fishing with the wind, and when you spot lock it'll kick you around.
Yeah.
Well, I could have used that, Sunday, the way the wind was blowing, it kept blowing me around, but I finally got pointed in a good direction where it didn't.
Yeah.
Definitely comes in handy. If you own a school, I can guarantee you it will help you.
Yeah. And it's pretty awesome. I mean, that 36 inches is perfect length, because you can be in that real dirt shallow water still and be able to use that motor to keep you locked on.
I think I have to get in the foot and 6-7 inches for mine to start scraping. So
yeah,
it's a pretty skinny water. It does really good.
Yeah, just don't hit a big old stump doing about 2 miles an hour.
Not good.
I've already done that.
Yeah.
Man, David, I might be doing a warranty exchange before it's
do a real quick stop.
Yeah. Oh man, that's the only. Yeah, I know. It actually busted the bolts popped through the mounting plate because I'm using the one objective, and it ain't nothing against their product. I would recommend them giving a little bit bigger washers to have a little bit more surface contact, because they give you those little bitty washers that barely fit over that hole on the bottom part of it. And when it you hit something's got to give. I'm glad it wasn't the boat that gave, but now I got some big old washers on there, so I don't know what's going to give if I do it again. But yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious going up in that skinny water now. So at what point did you fish till the end, Ron, or did you?
I fished to 150. I started going to the ramp about 150. Yeah, I was probably sitting at the ramp at 155. I was done. I was tired.
Yeah. Some of those places that you guys were getting to, y'all had to go down some 4-wheeler trails and stuff like that. Was the ramp that you put in, was it pretty easily accessible?
No, it was pretty easy. It was little skinny curvy roads, but it was plenty accessible for anybody to get in there.
Yeah.
I think about half the guys put in at that ramp where we put in at.
There's a bunch of y'all that did.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at check-ins that morning, I saw where everybody was checking in, and it's like, yep, where Ashley was going.
Ashley said his so-called ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I heard somebody else make a comment about how many there's that many people there. Is that just because there weren't any other options or anywhere else to put in, or?
That's just the one we went to that we Googled and went to it. I don't even know if there's any more ramps back there.
Was it an actual ramp or just?
Oh yeah, it's a big, nice ramp.
Oh, okay.
They put three full-size boats, at a time in there.
Yeah.
It was
See,
probably
now, I was
30 feet wide.
I was expecting a lot of guys to kind of go down some of these four-wheeler trails and just kind of dump in because man, there's tons of trails all around the lake.
There you
That I mean, you can basically when the water's real low, you can ride all the way around the lake.
Wow.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sardis is the same way. So I mean, if at some point we want to do one on Sardis, man, shoot, there's even more opportunities. I think there's a lot more vehicle accessible spots. I wouldn't just call them four-wheeler trails. They're pretty wide open, kind of dirt roads that go down, empty into the lake and stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was something worth exploring next time. Well, man, we had a lot of fun, dude. Congratulations to you for taking home the win, dude. I mean, I've been just extremely grateful for everybody that myself and David been extremely grateful for everybody that signed up and participated in this event, man. And I know a lot of our participation was from the club, and and there's nothing wrong with that, man. So it just shows the community and the willingness for people to show up and and put their money out for a good cause, and at the end of the day you still get to go fishing. So
Right.
but
Yeah.
David, you have any questions? Seth, you got anything you want to run by?
No, not that I can think of. Answered all my questions.
You're actually in town. You were mentioning a fishing program that you're a part of right now.
Yeah. I'm helping out a local pay lake with the fishing camp.
Okay.
So what are you doing at the fishing camp? I mean, kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on over there.
So basically, we have a group of not 8-year-olds or whatever. We have a group of I think 10 through max 12 years old or whatever coming in. And the past years they've done it fine. They just taught them the basics of fishing, getting outdoors. But however, some kids wanted some more knowledgeable information. So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I know it's a long shot, but do you think you probably fly and help me out with this camp for 4 days?" And I said, "Yeah."
So it's of course that's something I would be more than happy to volunteer with.
I was a big regular there and everything. Loved getting out there. My personal best bass game for that lake.
Yeah, over at Ketchum. And it's talking about Ketchum Lake over there off Walnut Grove.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Eric go way back.
Yeah. So for those of y'all that don't know, Eric provides a lot of the live bait for this area too, for a lot of the bait shops and stuff. So
Nice.
Wow.
Ketchum. No, which one is the Ketchum Lake? It's not Hyde. You're not talking about Hyde Lake, right?
no, it's not
No.
Hyde. It's the one right across the street. You got the little ponds, and you got that one little bait shop sitting right there, right where Farm Road dumps into Walnut Grove.
Is that the Catfish Lake?
Yeah, it's the Catfish
Yeah,
Lake.
it's got game.
Okay.
Catfish
So they have both.
Okay,
They
yeah.
have a lake in the back that's just strictly bass.
They got 2 in the back.
Two in the back that's strictly bass fishing.
Oh, okay.
Bass, crappie,
Bass.
shellcrackers,
Yeah.
everything you really think of. There are a few catfish that people actually throw in there, but they found them up.
Now, is that lake in the front? Is it still strictly? I mean, or mostly kayak? I mean, I'm sorry, catfish pond.
Yeah, the front 2, right as you walk the doors, one left, one to the right. It's surely those are strictly catfish ponds. You have to go pretty far back to get to your game lakes.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, I
There's some
I
bad
didn't know
fish.
they were back there.
Many of them over 7 out of there.
I know a lot of guys that caught some big ones out of there. So it's kind of a hidden little secret. Most guys don't know it exists back there.
Well, listen, a lot of people know about it. They just don't want to pay the fee. Pay the fee to get in there.
And it's not. I mean, it's really not that bad. What is it? It's like $10.
No, it's 13 now.
$13.
man.
All day though. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad, but there's a lot of people that stops a lot of people. And
Yeah,
also, you can't keep the bass there. So even if you get a small one, you cannot keep it.
yeah. So it's a neat little option that a lot of people don't know we have here.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had no idea those 2 lakes were back there in the back. I might have to pay $13 for an old 7-pounder.
I have fished.
Can you dump your kayak in there? I imagine not.
It's you usually reach all the whole lake from all the banks. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Even the big one, the very back that goes along the whole property. If you had like a good bait caster, so you could usually hit the middle from there.
Yeah.
The one thing you got to be careful with.
Me and Senior, we're going to take our motor guys out there. We're going to hit it from a different angle.
Yeah.
We're going to spot a lot in the middle and just fish every which way.
One thing you just got to worry about out there is this. First off, a lot of the snakes out there, they just leave you alone. Mostly the fire ants.
Oh, wow.
They are everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't run into them when I was up there.
Oh, it's bad out there now. Oh, yes. Even when you're walking in an old trail, you have one that's probably like a bite you.
Yeah.
You put your hand on one that looks like a dead fire tail, there's calling on the grass.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can hold that part.
Well, Mr. Ron, I know you're looking forward to next year. You're going to come back out and try to defend your title.
Man, I'm going to do my best.
We're going to have hopefully we have another Hobie we can give away next year. So, man, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to go ahead and let you get off here. And greatly appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you participating in this tournament, man. And definitely look forward to next year with you.
Oh, man, enjoyed it. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Sir. Congratulations again.
Well, David, any other words you want to share, about the tournament or, anything else coming up?
Just thanks to everybody who participated and was involved and has helped, and it's one of those pieces. This was mine and your first time to really be the guys running one. We've run a couple of small ones, but nothing quite this big of an undertaking, and it was interesting. I'm looking forward to doing it again, and looking forward to being involved in it as we go forward, and some of the different things that we're gonna try to change. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to doing more of it. Remind everybody to keep looking at what's going on here at the store. We got lots and lots of changes, dude. We're gonna. I'll tell you something I want to put out there. We're gonna be running a program for the month of June on our social media on the SY Wilson side, and we're gonna incorporate that on a little bit on the primary side as well. But tag the store Facebook and then tag hashtag SY Wilson Summer with your favorite product from SY or primary, and we're going to do a drawing at the end of the month for 3 gift cards for those folks out there tagging the store and being involved in the store social. I'm trying to kind of build it a little bit.
So hashtag SY Wilson Summer.
Yep. Hashtag SY Wilson Summer for the month of June. With your Hobie, or with your Little Miami rod, or with your Profound baits, or with your SY Wilson hat on, or whatever it may be. I mean, I want to see a bunch of my fishermen out there tagging it and trying to help build it. And, I mean, we're gonna be giving away some cool stuff and some gift cards and some things like that this month.
So I'm going to be posting with those 2.8 primary Kayak swimmers.
There you go.
Catch plenty of smallmouth on them where I'm from.
There you go.
Also walleye too. They love them.
There you go.
There you go, man. Well, good deal. It sounds like I'm sure a lot of people will participate in that. So one thing I wanted to mention that we are going to start doing soon to prepare for next year is that we're going to have it was just kind of a little bit scattered, with how we were putting the information out there. I had created a St. Jude Facebook page, but it was just kind of late in the game, and it was kind of hard to get everybody, centralized in that one location. So hopefully for next year, what we can do is, have more of a centralized location where we can put out information. Yep. And people can share a page or something, not just sharing a post, but invite people to that page to where we can increase, just the overall participation and involvement on that, centralized page. And then that helps to get it shared. When you're sharing just a post, it basically ends at that share. But whenever you have a page designated to that specific, event or calls or whatever it is, then it's recommended to other people that are looking at the similar or like things on Facebook or Instagram. And so, we're gonna take some of the pictures and stuff. And if you guys have any pictures, send them to myself, either through Facebook Messenger or text if you got it, or send it to David. And then we're gonna comprise all those, put together a nice little presentation and some cool stuff to be able to start using for next year to get it out there. So we'll have, some of the biggest, some of the catches and stuff like that. And if you guys have any just pictures that you took, I know David had some pretty cool pictures that he took out there, David Walker. So, man, send those to us if you don't mind. And, we're going to use those to, put together some kind of Facebook page to where we can, just kind of get everybody, under one umbrella, if you will. And that way, it can be easier to, communicate things that way. So, but I think that was one of the things that, I heard from a few people. It was just that, they just didn't really know where to go. And, we were having to send people emails and, follow up with them and all that kind of stuff, so they, so we made sure they had all the information. So we'll work on that piece. I think that's a good starting point for next year.
Yeah. And, one other thing I think we'll talk about it is we might build a separate website.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah.
That's good enough to do. We can work on that. And so I do want to do a few different things. And guys, we want y'all's suggestions anywhere we can get them. So I want to say thank you to Seth for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I haven't seen the boy since Christmas.
Yeah.
So
I got to ask. So on Facebook, your name is Charles. Is Seth your middle name?
Yeah, middle name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's Seth. I respond to it all. Pretty much. As long as you get someone close, I'm happy.
I said Charles one day, and Dave was like, "That's Seth." I'm like, Roger that, it's Seth.
They call me my nickname. They call me Captain Catfish there at work.
Captain Catfish.
Catfish. Well, everybody calls me by my last name, Patrick.
Catfish.
Yeah, I like that.
I catch that. I catch a lot of nuts catfish.
Nice.
So,
Well, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I got some preparing to do for Chickamauga. I'm heading out tomorrow morning.
So, you leave in the morning?
I'm leaving early, in 4 hours.
You're a beast, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. I can't. I got to get there. If I'm going to take off a full day of work, then it's got to be worth it. So,
to be young again.
anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up with that. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate everybody's support with that tournament. And, it was just awesome to see that participation. And we will see you guys next Tuesday right here live on Lines In. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.